Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Learn Podcast with the amazing John Acosta, Irina Potanova, Bruno Gills, and myself, Kara Jean. We just got together yesterday and had a wonderful time talking on the Kara method over at Win Win Women TV, and we talked about hustle culture. And we thought, why not unpack some more of that here today? So I'm going to open it straight up, and I was going to pass it to Irina. Irina, what stood out from you for yesterday? Start us off.
Well, the most important thing, right, that we always were taught that if you work hard, that's exactly how you're going to make your life, right? But then again, there are a lot of people who work really, really, really hard, and they hardly make this, for them with the bills and everything. So they don't really get the time to enjoy. So if that was really true, that when you work hard, you have whatever you want and you have exactly the life that you want to live, then a lot of people would be in a better place. So how come it's not the case?
Yeah. Hard work versus productive work is what I just heard there. We're working really, really hard. And if that meant success, then we'd have a lot more successful people. Yeah, I agree with that. Bruno, what stands out for you?
So I believe I touched on the expectations point of view. Yeah, and I think that's it. It's like I think like it's not just, it's also in hustle culture. Whether you're hustling on the things you like, whether you're hustling on the things you don't like, having all those expectations boiling up your cranium and exploding with it, right, in all the bad and meanest ways possible, is going to really damage you in the long run. Pressure, anxiety, adrenaline, stress, unwanted, right? Because you can choose to grow with that, or you can either choose to be like, I didn't ask for this, or right then, and it's tough when you get something you didn't ask for, right? It's tough. It's a bit tough.
Yeah. I love the expectations. We carry around so many other people's expectations. So are we working hard for their success or our own? Because those are two very different work situations. And that would be what I remember. So fear of success. So many people talk about how that's not a thing because conceptually, if you are successful, success feels good. However, let everyone know you were raised in the 80s and 90s without telling them we were raised in the 80s and 90s. I have a fear of success because what I saw growing up was people working harder and harder and harder under somebody else's expectations and getting fatter, having heart problems, anxiety, depression. That didn't look very successful, even though everybody was like, look how successful they are. I was like, I don't think that's what it's supposed to look like.
Karen, can I add to that? Also stress, right? People are truly getting sick from that stress because the higher up they were climbing that, leadership ladder, right? In business, the more responsible they become and the more, stressed out they become. And the point is that, do they even have the time to enjoy the money?
Yeah. Right? So they're working so hard and they're putting this money away for retirement because that's insurance on the reality we expect you're going to hate your job and really look forward to not having to do it someday. That's stress.
Mm-hmm.
And not healthy. It makes me think of the hustle cult rather than a hustle culture.
Totally.
Yeah. Something like, I feel like it's also because you were talking about, I'm a millennial myself, and but I also, I was brought up, like, more than the stress, it's like I was brought up seeing my mom being like working hard. It's almost like, because you have to hustle so much, this is how it literally feels like. The harder you work, the less you get, which should be the other way around.
Yes.
Right? And it feels hopeless. It's miserable. It's lonely. It's a hell that you choose not to go through because it has no reward in the end. Right?
Yeah. And exhausting. And And I love that you brought in watching your mother do it. Like, how many of us saw our parents working so hard, and everybody around us was like, well, if you work hard, you get successful. And you're like, why are they not more successful? They're working really hard.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Totally. You know, it's
Okay.
like we're. Yeah. Sorry, Kara. Sorry. Just one little thing. I just feel like we're more and more and more like, because before it was more hard work, right? It was more physical work, more carrying stuff, put your in your bag and stuff. Now it's more smart work, right? Now is more systems, right? How much can you do without much effort, right? And it's interesting because that requires intelligence. And how do I define intelligence? I define intelligence by how fast can you learn your stuff, right? But that takes awareness, right? And then that takes like acceptance, and yeah, and that's it. It takes a lot of awareness, right? And I think a lot of people, when it comes to hustle culture, I feel like a lot of people have the databases, but they don't really implement them. Meaning, like, guess what? You are like really like just down in your life, and maybe you won't have the answers now, or you won't have the answers tomorrow, but you can do some research, right? And if you have the courage and the bravery to work a job that you don't like for 8 hours, then you should also you should especially have the bravery and the courage to go home and be excited that now you're going to do what you love, even if that means working 2 3 hours more on something that is going to be like your future thing, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. I love that. So you didn't say this, but as you were talking, I heard 3 steps on how to unwrite hustle culture. In fact, right? So automate, delegate, and eliminate. If you can work on those 3 things, you can get hustle culture gone. That gives you the freedom to really focus on what does success mean to me and what do I need to do to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Totally.
That was good. Which is an excellent segue to Arena, right? How do we manifest that success that feels good and safe?
Such a great question. First of all, you know what comes for me when I was listening to you guys talking? The more people I meet on my life path now, since I changed my journey from being a corporate worker to being my own boss, and the people that come to my path, a lot of people were very successful in the corporate space where they were. So the question is, why did they step away from all that success and glory? And why did they become to do something that they are passionate about? Why they decided to write the books? Why did they decide to coach? Why they decide to step into a completely different uncharted territories for all of us, right? Why did we do that? Like, what forced us to do that, right?
Yeah.
And then the more you hear the stories, the more you realize the pressure, the anxiety, the weight that they carried, and then it obviously reflects in the health, right? Because the way when there is something with us, when we are not on our right path, it shows up in our body. Like, this is something that we can feel physically, because a lot of people can't really feel the energy. So body actually is the first signal that tells us if we have some disease, if we have the problem inside the body. We definitely have to connect it with our emotions, with our mindset, with our spiritual side, because it's all connected, right? So people were burnt out, people were having all sorts of diseases, just because it was like a signal from the universe that they are not on the right path. that they have to really wake up, and they have to do something what they meant to do in this lifetime. And it's interesting how lawyers, doctors, top executives, you name it, right? Because sometimes when you talk to the people are thinking, like, why would you do something like that? You had like such a secure job, you were just, having your paycheck, and now it's all like just, work, and you have to actually learn a lot, right? Because we are wearing so many hats. We have to learn not only about what we are doing, be real experts in our field, but we have to learn the marketing, we have to learn the sales, we have to learn communication. There are a lot of skills necessary, right? And people expect that the results are going to show up right away, and if they don't show up, they're like, so why do you do what you do? And the point is, it just remember when you went to college, you were given yourself 4-5 years to study for something, right? Before you prepare yourself for that, for the life, for the workforce. So the idea is that when we really follow our passion and purpose, we become very in sync with the universe, and we are actually feel like we are in the flow. So things come to us more effortlessly, more easily, right? So the idea is we have to do something that gives us joy, that gives us pleasure. Although all our life we were told that no, 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 this is not going to give you the income. And let me tell you, I was one of them. I was in the front line, like saying, like, why would you have the psychology major? Like, what are you going to do with that? Right? Like, where are you going to apply it? And now I'm the one who like completely shift my mindset, understanding that that's exactly how it works. Because a couple of years of rigorous work is gonna produce amazing results down the line.
Right,
And
I
the
love
most
that.
important thing, Kara, it's like we are not working for anybody. We are working for ourselves. We are the ones to build that business exactly the way that we want to. And this is the phrase that I love by Jim Rohn. If you work hard at your job, you're just going to make a living. But when you work hard on yourself, you're going to make a fortune.
And I love that
Mic
tying
drop.
wellness into your
Mic
body.
drop.
Like literally. Yeah. Wellness and how it affects your body. The golden handcuffs, right? The space that's so familiar but not comfortable at all. And how unfamiliar leaping out of that is, but it gets really comfortable. And you experience that in your body. And I love so as an entrepreneur, absolutely, you get to follow your passion. But even within a business, that choosing happiness, you can either pass down stress, which is hustle culture, or you can lean into what Irina just said and pass down wellness. Yeah. Bruno, I see you thinking a thought there. What did that bring up for you?
I'm always thinking, Jesus Christ. That doesn't stop. Anyways, yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that we were just saying, and I remember I think we touched on a topic back on when Women TV. I said, there's a thing, there's a difference between ambition and insecurity, right? And I feel that like all these, because like think about for a second the amount of like subconscious restrictions that like we get from seeing our parents work so hard, you know and this thing that like money is so valuable, money is so valuable, money is so valuable, you have to work so hard to get it, money is so valuable. Bro, there's trillions of dollars being printed every single year, paper. You think money is valuable? How can something that exists so much in abundance can be so valuable? And if trillions of dollars are being printed every single day, why can't you have your million? Why you? Like why 8 billion people can, who have less than you or more than you or are the same thing, but you can't? It doesn't make any sense, right? So you can, right? But I believe that like there are certain attitudes that there are certain behaviors that, and I do believe that like that's God's guidance, that's universe guidance, that's angel guidance. It's like, oh, I want to win the lottery. No, 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 no. It would be easier. Yeah, but what would you do with the money if you don't know about money? You're just gonna waste it all, right? So, in order for you to be something you wanna be, you have to do something you never did. And this might be like the cliche of like the ultimate phrase or the ultimate phrases or whatever. I don't know, but it is ultimately true, right? Everything you want to achieve, whether hard or difficult, there will be something, no matter how minimal it is, that you're gonna have to stop doing, because that type of life does not correlate with the type of life you have now, because the costumes are different, the habits are different, everything is different, right? So there are different type of realities, and different reality that you can live is um, constitutes of different things, and you have to embody those qualities, you have to embody those behaviors, right, for you to become. And there's no other way but to be like that. There's no other way, right? Simple, right? Now, I'll tell you what though. When it comes to there's there's a lot of, because like especially nowadays, like these past years, there has been this trend of you incorporate self improvement with entrepreneurs, and you see a lot of this trend a lot, like growing more and more and more and more on social media, like reels, videos, posts, quotes, motivation. But that's the thing, is like it's a good thing, because there is no big, like, you want to improve as a person, start a business, because you're gonna have to learn sales, you're gonna have to be good at talking, right? You're gonna have to learn how to sell, so you're gonna have to learn human psychology, especially your own psychology, because if you don't understand yourself, forget about understanding people, because it's not gonna happen, right? And it's super, it takes a lot of bravery, like, to start a business, because like, you see, this I believe this is why I believe a lot of people stay in the hustle culture, because even if it's shitty, it's something that people know how it works. So because they know the game, they don't panic.
Familiar.
Same, right? This is what I believe. I believe we all agree with that, as I see by your faces. Um, and that's the truth. It's like, but I usually use this analogy when people ask me, why, and I'm like, look, man, you're in a shitty situation. You have a pile of shit dripping on you, but you can see it, right? Would you stay there? No, you wouldn't, right? You would go away, like, no, like, that's disgusting, yeah. Like, whatever, right?
Ew.
Which is perfectly normal, right? Which is totally normal.
But we don't though.
So exactly, exactly, right? But why isn't it So why isn't it normal?
Oh no! Don't freeze.
You
That
can
was getting
feel it.
so good. Okay, there. Do it again, because we lost you about why is it so normal?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, but so, like, if you're in a shitty situation, and life is dripping on you, right? In that sense, then why isn't it normal as well to live something you don't like, or at least start something that you want to do, even if now you're still doing something you don't want, but you're building something that you want to do on the side, right? Because let's face it, you can smell it and you can see it, but you're feeling it. It's even worse. You're feeling it live, right? So it's just, I think, like, it's just but yeah, absolutely. I do believe that, like, a lot of people, the only reason why they stay on it is because they know the game, so they don't panic. And everything that's unknown, even if it's good for them, because it's unknown, and people need to first be in touch with their emotions and be emotionally intelligent, right? Only then people can, yeah. It's not for everybody.
Yeah. Well, and I love the path that you took us down, but leave it to our self-love coach, right? To show us how we can apply this to ourselves. So we have all these unconscious suggestions that are coming in constantly from this hustle culture we live in. And it often feels like you are literally being pooped on. And then you're just staying. You're like, this is fine. This is great. This is how it is, right? Because unconsciously we have been taught that that's, just take it, just keep going. It's familiar. This is what success looks like. Remember, we told you this. We're like, why does it not feel so successful? But that builds us this fear, right? We just live in this, well, if this is what it's supposed to be, well, then I should be here. I got to make this work. And shifting that to you can do whatever works for you. Like really, really hustle. If you are a hustler, hustle, but don't hustle for money. Hustle for health. Hustle for you. Hustle for what makes you feel like you so that you can help others feel like them, whatever that looks like in your real life. And get out from the shitstorm. Yeah. I love that. I love the practical tools we got here. We got the ABCs from Toby. We shared that. We got the 8, the automate, delegate, illuminate. We got decide you can. And if you're going to have to hustle for something healthy. We got be comfortable in that unfamiliar space so you can find what works for you. Learn, grow, develop. It might be unfamiliar, but it's going to be more comfortable than wearing those handcuffs or staying under the poop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can I add something?
Absolutely.
I
Yes,
think
please.
why people do what they do and stay. Number one is fear. Like we were saying, fear of unknown, fear what if this is not gonna work out, and now they end up without the income, right? Fear that they are gonna be judged by their family and their friends, right? Because obviously nobody is climbing up the way they decided to get out of that, right? So you have to be like really checking who you surround yourself with, right? Because obviously if you want to be more successful, you have to surround yourself with people who are successful, and not successful just in terms of like having more titles, but somebody who has the life, somebody who stepped out of that zone of being working for somebody, right, and doing this hustle culture, and actually enjoying the life where they can wake up just without rush, drinking coffee, enjoying the outside nature, right? And then go and do a couple of hours of the work that they love. Obviously, it takes time. Nothing is going to come overnight. And that's exactly what people want to have. And that's why a lot of people who venture out to be their own bosses, they quit. And resilience is another thing that is very, very needed.
I just had, go ahead.
Yeah. So the thing is that fear, and another thing is the big one is how. I do not know how. Show me all the roadmap. Show me every step I'm supposed to take in order to come up to this result. But the thing is, we are not talking about the conventional path. We are not talking about something that the society is doing. We are talking about being trailblazers. What does it mean? That means we are the pioneers in our life path. That means all we have to do, knowing, having the vision, where exactly we want to be, connect to that vision, have our strong why we want that, right? And then we have to know our action step. What are we going to do? So once we complete one action step, another action step is going to reveal. So we do not have to know the entire path, but we always are going to know the next step that we are going to take. And besides, there is a lot of help available. Nobody does it alone. Everybody has mentors and coaches. Why don't you partner with the person who already have done it, who already had the success in what they are teaching? And now they can guide you, they can provide you the right support, they can give you the tools, and you are going to have the accountability partner, somebody who's going to make sure that you follow through and you're moving forward. And it's just like a completely different level of life, right? Like Bruno said, everybody's living in their own world. And it's like to each one of us, we also perceive the world differently. We are living in the same world, but everybody perceive it differently. So the idea is that once you decide to go after something that you truly love, and it has to be truly, truly love. It can't be just lukewarm. It has to be like burning desire, saying like, I have to be there no matter what. That's that life force. That's the drive that's going to keep you going no matter what. Because we know that on that path, we are going to stumble, we are going to fall, we are going to have setbacks, we are going to have failures. So what? This is actually the road of every successful person. Nobody became successful without all these trials and errors, right? And I just heard this beautiful expression, right? The successful person is the same loser who try one more time.
Yes. Yeah. I had a massive brain blow up when you were talking about how everybody wants overnight success, right? I just want it tomorrow. Oh my gosh, yes. So what do we think of first when we're unhappy somewhere? I can just go get another job tomorrow. I mean, it's not going to fix any of the problems. It'll just be a new, same place to experience that versus changing ourselves. But that it changed how I was seeing business. So it's really easy to have these conversations, not easy. It's simple to have these conversations with people who are wealthy and right, who want to go do their own thing. They want to entrepreneur, but that's not life for everybody. Some people that doesn't feel successful, that for them would not be successful. But that doesn't mean that you can't, to Arena's point, do those little bits, right? Take that, move from fear little bit by little bit. How? Little bit by little bit. Follow what you love. Whether that is simply clocking out at clock out time and going home to do things that you love, or write the book you've been thinking about writing, or color because that's what makes you happy. You can absolutely start changing things overnight within yourself. Maybe not change a business overnight, maybe not start your own business overnight, but how? Follow that love little bit by little bit. And we've already heard the path, right? So start with yourself, then work around the people around you, the others, and then look at life. And that's the clear path. Follow love for yourself, then for others, then for life, and watch little bit by little bit that fear goes away. And one day it will feel like just overnight things have changed. That makes me think of the pandemic, right? So in 2019, we were deep in hustle culture, and it was all about better work harder, show me that you mean it. How many times as a trainer have I said, early is on time is late. I expect you to show up 15 minutes beforehand, but don't clock in until it's time to clock in. But be ready to in case I need you to clock in. Ew, and hearing that back, I've said that so many times as a leader and manager. But that was life. That was the expectation. And then the world started and stopped a whole bunch, and people had to slow down because we went into a pandemic, and they were like, oh, this is what it feels like to not hustle for someone else. I get to go home. I get to plant a garden, to Toby's points in the comments. I get to see the people I want to see. Whoa, what a new reality. And now we're in this new normal, and we're not going back. Nobody wants it. It's like we realized we were literally, my grandpa had this old statue, and it was a 2-decker porta potty, and the top part said manager and the bottom part said employee. And the bottom door opened, and it's a guy with poop on his head. Which made me think what Bruno was saying. But that was literally, that's been around so long. My grandfather had a statue about it. We're not going back to that, kids. We're not, and nobody needs to. You can hustle and do a great job at work and still hustle for your own health. Bruno, you're smiling. What's got you thinking about?
No, it's funny because like, like you were talking about like beginning of COVID, or COVID and stuff, in the middle of COVID. And it's funny because like when we first got into COVID, I was working my first ever job, which was at Primark, by the way. The clothes. I was a clothes assistant, whatever, and I used to do fuck all. I used to hide. I wouldn't do shit. I used to hide behind like, but I used to hide and make money, and it was so interesting because at that time I remember it was like, so they're asking me to do this and this and this and this, and I need to do this. I need to do every little thing in 3 hours. Okay, no. It's impossible. I'm not gonna do all this in 3 hours. Plus, the people I'm working with, they don't give a shit as well. So what is he gonna follow? Is he gonna like follow everything on me? No, it's not. Fuck this. Not gonna happen. So and there was a first ever time I was like, no, I'm not gonna hustle like a maniac in here because it's expected of me, because people that are higher than me in this job that is shit are gonna do. Because what am I supposed to impress people in a job that I'm not gonna stay here forever? But that's me, because I knew I wasn't gonna stay there forever. I knew I was gonna leave eventually. There were people there that did work there full time and stuff, and it is all right. That's a living, and you make an honest living, and I respect that, and as like everybody in here as well. But it's like, again, like it's too much expectations of somebody who is not a robot, right? um and sometimes like I just feel like people are treated like robots, because like it's like it almost comes to a point where like you can't even show any sort of like, I'm not gonna say this dissatisfaction, or any sort of like lack of satisfaction, if that is the correct word, any sort of lack of satisfaction, because then like people think like you're just trying to get attention or seeking attention, when in reality everybody's like just feeling like absolute shit, right? And people can't even show any sort of like lack of satisfaction, because people are just gonna go, oh, oh, we are as well, and you're not seeing us this, and you're not seeing us that. And I'm like, yeah, but I mean, sorry, but that's on you. You're the one who doesn't show it, and you could show it, but you don't, because I don't know. It's just like, um, yeah, and to touch Irina's point, because Irina was like, oh, like people are afraid, because we were talking about the unknown, and then Irina complimented it perfectly. And it is interesting because I'll say right here, and I don't know if everybody here went through that or not. But look, man, if your parents or your friends are going to, like, say stuff or doubt you, you know what? Maybe they will. I'll say right now, maybe they will. Right? Maybe they will. Maybe they'll shit on it. Maybe they'll laugh in your face. Simple. I'm serious. Like, I swear to God, like, I'm being super open in here. Super open here. And, like, if you don't like what I say, or if anybody in here says the way that we say it, shouldn't even be here in the first place. Right? So, screw you.
So
Right?
friendly.
And, yeah.
So opening and safe.
Yeah, just, that's what I'm saying. But, but it's funny because, like, people feel my safety based on not on what I say, but based on the bravery that I have of saying it, right? Which is super funny, by the way. But yeah, anyways, doesn't matter. But it is super interesting because maybe your parents will shit on you, maybe your friends will as well, maybe they'll laugh in your face, Maybe they'll, talk, with your family, and they'll be like, oh, my son, he thinks he's Jeff Bezos now, and he wants this and he wants that, or my daughter, like she thinks she's like, I don't know, like Serena Williams or something. I don't know, just something, you know, and it's just like just something, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because you're not in life to to pleasure your family or your friends, right? Remember that you did nothing to be born. You were born because you were born. Simple. You could have been born in any other position, with any other family, with every other friends. You didn't, right? You don't know anybody, absolutely nothing. You do whatever you want, when you want, with who you want, how you want, whenever you want, when you want, because that's your right. You have that right. You have that right.
Yeah.
So if you want to transition from hustle culture to care culture, then you should do that, because that does not mean that you're going to stop working. That does not mean that you're going to stop caring. In fact, you're going to care more. That's the whole point of care culture, that you're going to care more, but you're going to care more about yourself. And guess what? If you cannot take care of yourself, you think you can take care of your family and your friends or your kids? Cannot. You can't. You can't. You can't. Just can't. Just
Yeah.
can't.
And I love saying they might. They really might have holy bunches to say about your choices. But if
And
they
that's the
were,
thing
they
is
were
like,
going to have it anyway.
yeah,
And they might say that. And you might be
yeah,
so happy you don't care.
yeah. Look at her. Like this is what I believe. Like like in this situation, I don't care. It's just like, look, think about the worst. And if the worst doesn't happen, then be grateful for it. Like, I swear, like, I swear on God, like, don't expect the worst. Because if you're expecting the worst, then, you're almost like believing it's going to go bad. Don't believe it's going to go bad. Always believe it's going to go good, always. But think about the worst. And if the worst doesn't happen, be grateful for it. Because it won't feel as bad as it would if you didn't think about the worst. And man, you got to stick up for yourself. It's a very mean, cruel world. It's like, until I found Irene and John and Kara. I mean, I I don't have many friends. Like, not many people can deal with a 22-year-old that like has lots of whatever. Like, that's just the reality, right? And I've always been like pretty alone and whatever, and I don't have many friends, and the friends that I do are people like this, right? That we're all unique, but we all share something in common, right? So you're gonna be alone. It's gonna feel miserable. It's gonna be lonely. It's gonna be hell a lot of times, right? But look, man, like, you eventually find your people, right? And in hustle culture, is something that sometimes you don't find is your people, because everybody thinking more about themselves than each other, you know, and that's so true. It's like, people are your friends until they're not, you know, and like all that stuff about gossiping in work and whatever is like, that's disgusting. That's disgusting, bro. No, fuck that. That is disgusting.
Kind of how people is.
Fuck the gossip. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that, I mean, so if things that we all know that life is an up and down. I'll go back and watch our episode about the roller coaster of life, right? We talk about this all the time. Yes, things will be hard. Yes, things will be challenging. Yes, you are going to have to persevere and want it because you're unlearning something and relearning something new. Yeah. But if people are going to comment, if they're going to have expectations of you and you're spending all of your time worried about that, that's like chasing somebody else's thoughts inside their head. And I mean, if you get good at that, I need information because I just don't know how to do that. It's hard enough to manage my own mess in my head.
Yeah, may I say
Yeah,
something?
yeah. Jump in, Johnny. Welcome.
Hey, thank you. How you doing, everyone? Well, a couple of things. Number one, and this started with a meme that I heard once, and it was Joseph, Mary, and the donkey before Jesus was born. And at one point, people see them on the donkey, and people are starting to talk about them. Like, Are you serious? That's animal cruelty, whatever. Then he just leaves the wife. And, oh my God, like seriously, why would you do that? And so far and so on, no matter what they did, at one point on the meme, they're both carrying the donkey. It's like, seriously, those idiots are carrying a donkey? Like, so number one, people are going to talk about you no matter what. Okay? Now, get worried if people are not talking about you. Then that means that you're not relevant.
Boom.
Completely different. So, good or
Indeed.
bad, let them talk. If they're not talking, get worried. That would be my biggest thing, because at the end of the day, you define success the way you want it, the way you picture it. For some people will be money, for other people will be family, for other people will be health. Success doesn't come on a one size fits all.
Oh,
And
I
can
love
I
that.
add towards the success? Success is not just about you. Success is about the people around you. How can you impact this world? A lot of times when I talk to the clients, they tell me, you know what, I don't need more money. I'm pretty good at what I have. And I said, this is very selfish, because you just think about yourself. Just think, if you had more abundance, more financial money, you could have helped so many in the world who truly needs it. So people have to start thinking a little bit, like more further, rather than just, like whatever is going on with their lives. Although a lot of people don't think about themselves, they think more around, like the family, especially women, right? They think about the children, they think about the partner, they think about the parents. But the point is, start looking, with the eyes of the visionary, somebody who can see things while they are not there yet, and really understand that we are here not just to live for ourselves. We are here to contribute to the society, and we are here to make this world a better place. And if you really want to be successful, be with the people who are more successful than you. Look at them, hang out with them, because when you're rubbing off the shoulders with somebody who already somewhere where you want to be, this is the best way of connection for you, right? So stay with like-minded people. That's why in Facebook there are so many communities, there are so many groups, you can find so many support. So even the people who you are surrounded with in the physical world are not the type of people who have the same mindset. You always can find like-minded people, you always can find these supportive groups, and you can stay connected, and you all can all go towards your goals in life.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And I think that is a perfect segue into the tool section, right? So use a tool, don't be a tool. That's one of my favorite sayings. So if we're going to unlearn this hustle culture and we're going to relearn or unlearn, so that relearn this caring culture, what can we do so we hustle for happy? What can we do so we love ourselves, others, in life? How do we not do because it's expected, but do because it's right, and have that vision? So I'm talking a little bit to give you a chance to think about what tool you want to share around this concept from what you each do and your own areas of genius. So one more time, the question is, we don't love hustle culture. We don't mind hustling. We just don't love a cult that says that's the expectation, that you have to live up and prove to me, that to my level, that you are hustling enough. So what is a great tool to unlearn that or relearn a better way? Start me off, Johnny. Go.
The one tool, I don't know if it's because I like to sit down with piece of paper and pen and ask yourself the hard questions, the ones that you don't want to ask to yourself. Because in order for you to understand where you want to go, you got to know who you are. You really have to know who you are. You got to know what are your flags. Wow. where can you improve and where are you great. The parts where you're great, you don't have to work that hard. But if you focus on just where you're bad, then guess what? You're gonna feel like a failure. So you gotta first understand what's the difference between one and the other, where you're good, where you're bad. Ask those hard questions. Okay, is success for me networking? And how does networking looks? Does it look like just a bunch of people that we exchange cards and never see again until the next time we meet? Or is it actually people that care and want to see you better and succeed? Uh, I'm just giving you one of the questions that I had to go through myself. But I
I
don't know what is going to be
love.
your hard question because I kept going to networking
Oh no. Okay, come back. You said you went to networking and. Mm, mm.
and nothing was happening. I was going to many networkings. I was pretty much exhausted from networking. And I'm like, nothing is happening. And then I figure, okay, maybe I gotta find my tribe. And that's what started happening. My tribe started showing up and then of course things start getting easier. Because sometimes it's not about the connections that I have, it's about the knowledge that they can drop on you, things that you have not lived yet, but the other person has. And you not always, but sometimes can learn by their stories and their situations. Although we're humans, we like to learn it the hard way. We like to go through it.
So many of us, that is true. Sure is for me. Yeah. I love that. So get a paper and pen and ask yourself the hard questions. And I love the lean into the flags, right? So look for your red flags, look for your green flags, look for the beige flags, and then figure out what's on your freak flag so you can find your tribe. Yeah, I like that. All right, who's got another tool?
Me.
I
Give it
have
to
a
me,
tool.
Irina.
Okay,
Irina got there
Uh,
first.
go on.
I I would suggest practice more mindfulness, which is be more aware of our thoughts, about our emotions and behaviors, right? So we want to bring that awareness that we recognize what is really making us overworking, or when do we actually push ourselves too hard. So it allows us to just pause, take a deep breath in and out, and actually reflect and prioritize our self-care.
Oh
So
my
it's
God, I
very
love
important to prioritize self-care. And some of the mindfulness technique could be meditation, it could be deep breath exercise, or simply taking just the moment of, get grounded, just take a walk in the nature. And obviously, just like Johnny mentioned, to journal. I would say also to notice your emotions around how you are doing every day, as opposed to how would be your emotions if you were doing what you truly love to do versus what you are doing to hustle in this life.
Oh my God, I love that. Mindfulness, meditation, breathing, awareness ones like grounding, walking, journaling. Irina, do you have a favorite, like real quick mindfulness tool that you like to use regularly?
Myself,
Hmm.
my favorite one is intentions. I'm all about intentions. So usually before the bedtime, I would journal how I want my day to look like. I'm not putting the list of to do things, I'm putting the way I want my day to go.
Mm.
People to meet, receiving registrations for my workshop, receiving yeses for my interview series, and so on and so forth. Basically, you're just making up your day, not based on your logic, but based on your energy. And because intentions are so much more powerful than to-do lists, and the more you lean on to this practice, guys, the magic is going to just unfold in the most unexpected ways. But you have to do it daily, and you have to be consistent and let go of the attachment. Don't get upset or because something is not worked out the way you put it in a journal. Just allow things to happen.
I love that. Okay, so set your intentions for the next day in the evening, and don't focus on a task list. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about the to-dos. We're talking about the feelings, the energy, if you were going to pick one word to describe who you want to be tomorrow, what would that word be and why?
I would say fulfilled.
See,
because to me yes, it's the most important word, and it's like, it has every like thousands words in the meaning, right? Fulfilled meaning that you really serve your purpose, you really follow your passion, and you really enjoy every step of it.
Good tool. Thank you. Okay, Bruno, what's yours?
Yeah, well, for me, I would say unlearn other people's behaviors. So the reason why I say this is because we do spend a lot of time around other people, and sometimes the people that we look up to don't have the life that we actually believe they have. But we're saying that based on assumption, not on facts. That's number one. And then number two, that takes a toll on our personality, right? And if that is not really something that if that person doesn't have either the life that you want or a life that is honorable enough to follow and learn something from, then there's nothing to take from it. Simple. So that doesn't mean you're going to copy. That doesn't mean that you're going to do the same thing. It just means that you're going to learn with it and you're going to apply it to your life and you're going to do it your own way. Simple, right? And unlearning other people's behaviors comes from unlearning what my mother taught me indirectly, not in the direct way, like do this and do that. No, but the way she was behaving, the way she was acting, the way she was living her life was just plainly wrong, right? And it's those examples, right, that we need to unattach ourselves from and create our own life. Now, why do I want to do this? Do I want to do this because my parents are doing it and they're going to like it, or because I want to do it and I like it, right? Am I reacting this way because is this the type of reaction I have, or I would have, or I'm reacting like this because my mom would react this way and I don't have any other type of reaction because, I mean, I have more of my mom's or my dad's or my friend's personality on me than my own unique personality, right? And that's the thing, right? It's like the more unique and the more authentic you are, the more your light shines. I am a big fan of rap, and in Portugal we have very very good rap, from old school rap to modern rap like trap and stuff, right?
I'm so sorry, Bruno. Is there such a good thing as good rap? No, I'm just kidding. Let's go heavy metal. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Metallica and stuff. Yeah,
I'm messing with you.
No, yeah, it's all right. I like it too.
But I love this. So what I'm hearing is stop wearing other people's expectations and stop living other people's behaviors. Start asking yourself, why am I doing this? And am I doing it for me? Or is this somebody else's something?
Yeah, absolutely. But let me tell you why I said like I love rap, because that has nothing to do with that. Who cares if I love rap or not? But like, I said that because like there's this rapper, right? And there's this rapper and he has this verse like on a rap that says, the more enlightened you are, the more people will follow you, right? Because it's not so much as they want to be what you are, but people want to know what makes you tick. They want to get to know you more by what you are than really by what you do, right?
So you have to know what that is.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, there's none of that in the hustle culture. God damn it. Well, it's very rarely, very very rarely, right? Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's what I believe. Yeah.
Oh, these were good tools. I'm going to wrap us up for the end of this and say and repeat all these tools again. So Johnny got to join us, drop some golden nuggets right off. Yes. And then shared, ask the hard stuff, write it down, get to know yourself, and look for your red flags, your green flags, your beige flags, and then, figure out what's on your freak flag and share that so you can find your tribe. And then Arena says, get some mindfulness in your life. Do some breathing, do some walking, do some awareness. You know what? How about you set your intentions for the day before? Rather than making yourself a huge task list of all the things that you have to do, how about you look at who you want to be and how you want to be for that day and let the rest fall into place. And then Bruno said, stop wearing other people's expectations and stop living other people's behaviors. Figure out who you are, because when you figure that out, people want to know more. And that's powerful. And I'm going to close it with my favorite tool. You all know what that is. It's better with a buddy. So these tools seem so simple, but you're like, yeah, cool. I hear what you're saying. I catch all the words, and yet I have to do it every day. Well, cool. Learn about letting go of other people's expectations with Bruno. Talk to Arena about some mindfulness. Get with Johnny and let's talk about journals. It's better with a buddy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Anybody have anything else?
love it.
Yep.
Kiara, you
Beautiful.
always, make such a nice, conclusion and wrap it up. I just, admire you for that.
You guys are such
Yes.
geniuses.
Yeah.
Make it so easy on me.
Thank you, Kara, for helping us today and taking over. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Bruno and Irina, for being here every single time. And I guess without further ado, we're good for another great Thursday.
Woohoo!
All right, everyone.
Yes.
Thank you. Have a
Bye.
great evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.